Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. Yesterday I put out this video pertaining to Vybz Kartel's situation. As frankly, I was trying to appeal to some of Vybz Kartel's fans, although I never expected to find any of them over here because I specifically said in the video that I want people to listen to this video and then to go and tell it to pass the message on to anybody who are fans of Vybz Kartel. Because while I don't cater for them, nor expect to ever cater for them, it seemed that some of them actually came and saw the video. And for some reason, they seem to have wised up. They think that, well, Vybz Kartel is really in a tight spot and he's not coming out. Now, having woken up to the fact that Vybz Kartel will never be free, at least for quite a number of more years, they seem to have been taking on a new alternative to him being free. Quite a number of them went in the comment section and said that this is the time when Vybz Kartel should be doing a plea deal. He should try to get a plea deal so it can cut the number of years that he'll have to do so that at least he will really get out of jail. Yeah, that sounds like they're really desperate, even though wiser. But I am no lawyer, but I have some advice for these people. You Vybz Kartel fans, I know enough to know this because, as I said, I'm no lawyer. But as an intelligent and well-rounded individual, I'll say this. Guys, there is nowhere in this that a plea deal can happen. You see, when it comes to a plea deal has to happen before the trial even begins. Although at times it can happen during the trial, but it definitely has to happen before a verdict is reached. In other words, there are cases where it happened during the trial and the defense stop the trial and say, all right, make we go straight to a plea deal now. But once a verdict is reached, and I mean, there is nowhere in that where you can plea deal again. In a court case, you have a defense and you have the prosecution. Now, it is the weakest side, the side which feel they have the weakest case, which will go for a plea deal. So if the prosecution feels that they have a weak case, they would say, all right, we don't have enough evidence to prosecute you and send you to jail, but you want to take a plea deal and we give you a lesser sentence and then you can walk in X number of years instead of languishing too long. And then now the defense will say yes, they will take it or they will go for trial and get off completely. But if the defense feel it have a strong enough case, they won't ask for a plea deal because they know they can win their case. On the other hand, with the defense, both the defense and the prosecution is the same way. But as it stands now, the case is already closed. The prosecution, right, which is the courts, they have used the evidence to win the case. They win it first in the courts. Then they win it a second time at the appellate court in Jamaica. Then they win a third time at the Privy Council. So it's 3 wins, in fact, against Kartel. And it will be 4 wins if it goes back to trial. Because if all the evidence were sound before, and they can use over all the evidence again if it comes to trial, then Kartel is going to lose a 4th time. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. It is behind that background that I say the courts, the prosecution has everything and has absolutely nothing to fear. So why would they make a plea deal? Why would they even listen to a lawyer coming to them and say, let's make a deal? You can't make a deal. The case done in the first. The case done already. You understand me? This is not the time. They should have the prosecution, the defense should have gone for that at the time of the trial. But at the same time, the arrogance of Vybz Cartoon. Vybz Cartoon swear that him could have beat it. He has enough money and enough fame and enough top lawyer to beat everything. And he gambled and he lost 3 times. And it is clear that he will lose a 4th time. So, I'm sorry to be the one to break the bad news, but there is no such thing as a plea deal. That wouldn't even come up in any lawyer's mind anywhere in the world. So, let's strike off that. Anyway, for you cartel fans, this is where you come to learn. No look like you don't have much sense, but if you want to upgrade your mindset, this is the channel to come. Do subscribe. Now, let me move on. I am a person who have always advocated for summary dirting of violence producers, because I have seen where that is the only way to get rid of that level of violence that exists in Jamaica. Now, a number of persons have continuously been telling me that is extrajudicial dirting is not the way to go, and it means that policemen themselves are breaking the law, and therefore it should not even be considered, and that I should not consider myself a moral person for even advocating for that. In particular, there is a subscriber of mine who visits my channel regularly in the recent past. He calls himself Clean Police. And Clean Police has always jumped down on my case, telling me that that's not the way to go. We need to follow the law, and it's the law that matters, and policemen are not supposed to be involved in extrajudicial dirting of bloodthirsty criminals. Well, I beg to differ, and I'm going to tell you why. With the current realities that exist in Jamaica today, it is impossible for us to take Jamaica's murder rate to a lower level without first cauterizing Jamaica's crime situation. And it can't be cauterized with the current, under the current strategic, tactical, and operational ethos of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Something has to be done differently because currently it isn't working. And one of the greatest pushback there has been about this idea is people come to me and say, oh, that has been tried and it doesn't work. And I grant you that it has been tried and it hasn't worked. Why didn't it work? Here is why. It was done without any proper structure or strategy or regulated tactic, which means that it was ad hoc, spontaneous, sporadic, and lacked structure. So that wouldn't be expected to work, and because of that, it was just some people going rogue and try to get it done, or officially they do it and make it look unofficial. But now I want to give my moral justification for saying summary dirting of violence producers is the way to go. First, let me look at the Jamaica Constabulary Force and its aim. And to begin with, I'm going to look at a gentleman called Colonel Trevor Macmillan. He was the Commissioner of Police between 93 and 96. And there is something that gentleman brought to the Jamaica Constabulary Force as a legacy that no other previous commissioner has brought to the police force, and no other commissioner since him has ever brought to the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And you know what he brought? He brought a mission statement, a vision statement, and a motto to the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And those things has persisted in the force from his day until now. And I'm assuming, well, if the force exists for another 100 or several hundred years, it is likely that these standards, this vision and mission statement and motto will continue to exist. So basically, he is the only person, only commissioner who have ever left a real legacy in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Now, let's look at the mission statement. The mission of the Jamaica Constabulary Force is to serve, protect, and reassure the people in Jamaica through the delivery of impartial and professional services aimed at maintaining law and order, protection of life and property, prevention and detection of crime, and the preservation of peace. And then they have the motto: we serve, we protect, we reassure with courtesy, integrity, and proper respect for the rights of all. Now, I have a problem with that motto, and here's the problem I have with it. You can't be going out there and fighting against violence producers, bloodthirsty murderers, and talk about respect for the rights of all. Because that would mean respecting the rights of cold-blooded, bloodthirsty murderers. Now, my question is, and this is a clear, straightforward question, why should the rights of cold-blooded, bloodthirsty murderers be respected? You see the thing with clean police, as he calls himself, I'm assuming it's a man. He think that good policing means following the law. But I say no, good policing is not about following the law. Good policing is about serving, protecting, and reassuring. And how can you serve and protect the rights of decent citizens if you are also serving and protecting the rights of cold-blooded, bloodthirsty murderers? That makes no sense. Absolutely no sense whatsoever. In other words, clean police, as he calls himself, all he cares about are procedures, not justice, are reassuring. And that is very sad. A policeman should not be concerned about due process. He should be about protecting, serving, protecting, and reassuring, not due process. And you must serve, protect, and reassure good people. You can't serve both, because if you are serving the gunmen and protecting gunmen, then as far as I'm concerned, you are in cahoots with them. Now you got to pick a struggle, You have to pick a struggle. You can't be on both sides. You can't be on the side, because if you decide that you are going to protect and reassure bloodthirsty gunmen, then what does that make you? You're not on the side of law and order. Pick a struggle, man. Pick a struggle. You can't be on the side of the good guys and the bad guys at the same time, because it then means that you're facilitating the welfare of both. Is that any way to protect, serve, and reassure? Because if the law is about protecting the innocent, then allowing these bloodthirsty murderers to keep staying alive and going back on the street, or being in jail, being fed by this country, and then tying up the court system in hundreds of millions of dollars in legal fees every year. Is that how you serve, reassure, and protect the population of your country? I don't think so. In the current realities that exist in this country today, we should see these bloodthirsty criminals for what they are. They are vermin. They are like cockroaches. They are like rats. They are like any other type of plague. And they shouldn't be considered as humans where you would protect, serve, and reassure them. You just fumigate them and get rid of them so that the country can return to some level of civility. In other words, for the Jamaican government To serve, protect, and reassure its citizens, it have to fail. It has to stop serving, protecting, and reassuring criminals. As I said, pick a struggle. You can't be on both sides. You can't be sitting on the fence and fighting crime at the same time. Because that is the reason why we cannot solve the problem. We are trying to please both the criminals and the decent citizens of this country, both at the same time. And because of that, the laws are, we use the laws to hog-tie ourselves, and being hog-tied by our own laws, we tend to not do what we are supposed to do. So that is my reason and my justification, and I see it as saving lives to me is moral. Saving the lives of decent people is moral, and it is upstanding, and is what I think that any civilized country should want to do. Save the lives of its decent citizens. Because the lives of bloodthirsty, cold-blooded murderers does not matter. Okay, so please leave your comments in the comment section and tell me what you think based on the position or the reasons why I take the position that I do. So guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.